It's lunchtime and the Brooklyn Cafe is open for business. Live from the Brooklyn Cafe studios, Dawn and Freddie S. and their team are ready to serve up a huge portion of fun for lunch with friends and neighbors. So let's break open that lunch pail and unwrap that sandwich you brought and take a front row seat at the Brooklyn Cafe and get ready to enjoy some humor and hot topics. It's time to get a healthy serving of hope and happiness to help your day go by with a smile. Your hosts, Dawn and Freddie S., are ready to talk about food, health, dating, or just plain dream making. If you have a story to share, or a movie review, restaurant critique, or just a coincidental thing that happened to you, call in free 888-994-4995 right now. Sit back and enjoy your lunch break at the Brooklyn Cafe. Here are your hosts, Dawn and Freddie S.
Welcome to the Brooklyn Cafe. I gotta tell you, a lot of moving parts today. We got all sorts of stuff going on, but before we get started, we want to thank all our friends out there who have been so supportive. Been on the phone all afternoon, all morning. It just makes me feel very good that people are actually getting it.
Are you feeling like,
I can't do that unless I put it on a map.
you can't do that. Happy Thursday.
Happy Thursday. Welcome to the Brooklyn Cafe on a beautiful Thursday afternoon. This is show 2,375.
Really? Wow.
A lot of shows.
A lot of shows.
And I tell you, I'm exhausted.
I was talking to someone last night, and he's out in California. He's a teacher for 30 years, and he says, how did you get into all of this? How long has the show been around? I had this really nice conversation with this gentleman. He's going to be on our show next week. It's about the Zen teacher and a lot about teachers in school now. He wrote a book about the Zen teacher, mind, body, spirit, how to just relax. And at the end of the conversation, he said, how did you go from being a special ed teacher to having a production company? And the very last thing, 45 minutes into it, I said, and we have an internship program where we work with college students from all across the country. Some are still in school, some are out. And I had this aha moment that, you know what, I never stopped being a teacher. Just went from preschool special ed to what we have now, and always a teacher, I guess. So that was still there. I don't think you ever lose what you had. You never lose where you came from. We just grow from it and continue to go.
I see that our friend Steve from New York Sound, his daughter graduated.
Congratulations. He said some other big news, by the way, but.
He has his daughter, he sent a picture. She's done. I love the crown, the hat, done. And she graduated. Congratulations. Oh, wait a minute. This is not a graduation.
No, it's his wife.
No, it's his wife.
That's why I don't know if that's for publication, but congratulations to you, Steve-O and Yolmari, and best of luck.
Listen.
I don't know if send him anything because
I don't know if it's publication either, but I'm going to ring the bells because that's great news.
Yes.
She had a medical deal going on, and she's done. And congratulations, and our prayers are with you. And you know what? Bottoms up. Get me a cup of coffee or a drink or whatever. Congratulations. It's a big deal.
It's a huge deal. So feel well. Happy anniversary. Happy everything. Happy Thursday.
Like
I know.
Wow, I'm all confused. All right.
Happy Thursday to you. It's been a great day. Our crew is working overtime. Amazing shows we've had lined up today. We had our Morning Brew crew. We talked with Your CBD Store, and Saturday is National CBD Day. So contact Your CBD Store at 561-437-1080. Your CBD Store, it will ring them directly there, 561-437-1080. See what specials they've got. Buy one, get one 35% off. Buy two, get spectacular deals. They have CBD, CBG, CBN, edibles, gummies, tinctures, oils, lotions, skincare, something for everyone to really help you maintain homeostasis. As Freddie says, balance, homeostasis, whatever it is, give them a call. They are 4 locations in South Florida to serve you, and if you are not in South Florida, anywhere in our local area, they will mail it to you, and they will even do delivery or curbside pickup. So give them a call.
First of all, Freddie never says that because Freddie ain't that smart.
You said it this morning. You said balance.
Yes, I said, do you understand the clear understanding of balance? And balance, your body is balanced, has a whole lot more to think than what you think. But you know what? Get your groove on, get that stress level smaller. Kids are going to be doing something with school.
School is
we
going
understand
back,
that stress level is going through the roof. So check our friends out at the CBD store and get your groove on. At least feel a little bit less stressful so you can think clearer.
You know, I was laughing. I said to Val, for a small person, I take up a lot of space.
You do.
Right? Ever since I met you, I always said I needed more space. And you said to me, how much space do you really need? You're
Well,
small.
I didn't quite mean this much space, but okay.
You know, I start there in the chair, and then I move things over here, and then I walk around, and I drop some food off over by Hector. He asked what kind of party we had yesterday. Spectacular desserts are still here from the bakery.
What's the name of the bakery?
Wonder Sweets Bakery. They're located in Boca. Oh my gosh, I just had a half a cannoli for breakfast.
That's the phone number.
That is the phone number, 941-421-2958. You can find them on Instagram, Wonder Sweets Bakery.
And that's for Phyllis, right? I think it was Phyllis.
No.
No?
I think it was Camila, but you're close.
It's not even close.
Totally
it's not
close.
Camila.
It's not Phyllis.
It's not Camila.
Yeah, 100%.
Camila, nothing.
100%. Anyway, check them out. The food is delicious. Then we moved in. We had Business Kitchen Show. We've got a live show tonight on radio, Reinvented Life. We are kicking off our coast-to-coast connection from California to Florida, our east-west connection, hosted by Pamela Chanel David of the Reinvented Life. She airs on Mondays, but tonight she is airing live on WWNN Radio, 3 FMs and 1 AM, as well as streaming all over the internet and YouTube. And she's interviewing Amy Minty, 2 authors.
That's right. And we came up with the idea of California Dreaming Studios. And so far, I've been asking for that banner, and nobody
I got you
seems...
coast-to-coast connections, though.
Nobody seems to understand, so they gave me coast to coast.
That's close.
Which Slick told me, Freddie, take it easy in time. Okay. So I'm going to take it easy. But that coast to coast interview, which I'm excited about because we have our friend Amy Minty, whose book is spectacular, talking to the West Coast on a show that we do, Reinvented Life, and we're actually putting it on radio tonight. So check it out, call in, harass them, whatever you want to do it. I think there's a whole lot of fun on that.
And I always say with this, I don't even want to use that P word anymore. With the situation we are in, it is now an equal playing field for interviews from across the world. And Val asked me today, where do you find all these people? Because now the gamut has opened up. We can bring anyone in from anywhere worldwide as long as you have access to internet for an interview. And it's just opened the playing fields. You're going to love today's show. You don't even know. I didn't even get to show you who's on. We are always 98% women, I think, pretty much. Maybe 99% women heavy on our interviews. Today?
No.
We ever have any men we interview?
Yeah,
Wayne,
you don't put the
Steve.
camera on them.
We've got Wayne, Steve, and Steve-O.
And we got Slick, and we got Vinny, and we got Hector, and we got
But I mean, as
Lanny.
interviews, as guests,
Well, they're not. You see, the problem here is that we don't count.
you always count.
You don't give us enough credit. Bee-hoo, boo-hoo. Yes,
Anyway,
it's
today
heavy
we've got
woman.
3 men.
I know it's going to be a different delivery today.
And the
A lot of
first
fun.
one is we've got Mr. Rogers.
What? Mr.
Mr. Rogers
The
Neighborhood.
Mr. Rogers?
The Mr. Rogers Neighborhood is joining us, not the Mr. Rogers that
Then
you're
they'll say
thinking
the,
about.
The
Versus
not
the. Is there a
Yeah.
different?
It's like the, D-U.
It's
not
like
the.
the versus the or versus duh. I don't even know. But yes, we have the Mr. Rogers Neighborhood joining us.
Now, before we get to that, I want to congratulate the crew today because we are pushing them even harder today. Even Slick will complain, and you'll hear it in a little while. But we're pushing them harder. We are having a lot of moving parts because our sponsors are back. They want to push further. They want to do more. We want to do live feeds and everything else. So we're pushing it hard. I saw that Fuego had a jewelry lady in there. They were pushing hard. They were doing videos. You got Vinny over there. You got Latina Selena doing her gig. And
Yes.
she's in there as well. So we are pushing it harder to bring you better content. As I was told, up the content, Freddie. I got to up it.
You got to up it. But here's what I learned today on Business Kitchen. And while the crew is here listening, we're going to up it a little bit more. Lady Ann, Natalia Levy, and Tatiana had a spectacular branding photographer on their show. And what I love so much about their show is I get to listen and learn from it.
Right.
And she talked about it's not just your logo. And I'm just going to give you a brief teaser, and I want you to tune in. You can find it on Business Kitchen Show. You can listen to it on Facebook, social media, on their page, Business Kitchen Show. But she talked about it's not just your logo, it's not just your face that people want to see on social media. They want to see behind the scenes. It's great to say, you know what? Our production looks fantastic, and you see it right here, and we can take a screenshot of it. But what's happening all over here? What is behind the scenes? What is the cameras, the lights, the warehouse? What does the set design look at? People want to feel like they know you and they understand what you're doing and what your message is.
I don't even know me.
So while this set looks so incredibly spectacular, I want to get some behind the scenes shots and put that out on Instagram, because we've got commercial segments set up 1, 2, 3, 4 locations plus us right here of what's going on behind the scenes. And that was my tip of the day to share with you. And edit those pictures, get your content, and if you need to find a great branding photographer, she actually will let you send her your content and she will edit it. This way you can continue to take more and not spend so much time in the nooks and crannies of the editing. You know what number 2 tip is? Really number 1, lighting. Lighting is critical because you get a great picture, and if it's in the dark or in the shadows, it doesn't really work.
That's right. It's all part of putting together a piece where you can deliver. You know, I got some phone calls from some big companies today, and they all like what we're doing as well.
I didn't even get a chance to talk to you.
We haven't, but I'm going to tell you something. They know what's going on as well. Yeah. It's like Steve from New York Sound says, he says you got to stay connected. You got to stay connected to the people around you. You got to keep your finger on the pulse of the community. So all of the elements that Dawn is talking about is important on delivery. You want to be clear. You want to be crisp. It's one of the reasons we're pushing our kids even harder. So you're going to see some live spots today. This is all ad-lib. We told them about 15 minutes before the show who's doing what until they get it right, and we're going to switch it up and keep doing that. But you want to be able to do it. You want to be able to do it so you're doing it freely.
And we have got Jordana Foster joining us tomorrow, a coach trained with John Maxwell, Ready, Set, Go Beyond. Her show airs on Tuesday evenings on WNN. And I talked to her, and she said to me, thank you very much for sharing that. She said, I've been thinking about what you're saying, and I never had that kick to do it. And I said, all right, what is your tagline? And she said, oh, I've got this and this. I said, I need it by tomorrow. So she is leveling up. As a coach, she's leveling up to her next level also.
Very cool.
So you got to keep up with where we are.
And this afternoon we have?
This afternoon.
In studio?
In studio we've got, not until tonight.
This afternoon, don't we?
Oh, yes, we've got the colored pencil. I had to think about this afternoon. The colored pencil artist. We've got Jay Harmon, and I'm really, really excited that one of our longtime friends, an original artist that we worked with, Mark Freeman, is going to be here, and he has our OG picture, Marion Freeman. You can find him on social media. Spectacular artist. You talk about color and painting and resin and high frequency. Amazing. So tune in today at 2:30 for that.
That's right. So it's a lot of fun. A lot of stuff that we're going to go over. I want to say hi to Jen, who's watching us from Moby Pop. Get your Moby Pop on. Some other friends that are on there as well. Thank you for joining us. And call in. Be part of the show. We'll more than welcome you to come in. That's the phone number?
888-994-4995. Ask for Studio A. Before we hit commercial break and we bring in Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, who are we kicking it off to?
We're going to start with our lovely lady over here, Miss...
the mass mad woman over there.
Valerie.
All right, over to Val.
Hi guys. So this segment is brought to you by Don Pablo Coffee, growers and roasters. Their coffee is so good, it'll keep you energized all day. Keep a little sunshine in your cup.
They call me Don Pablo, and 20 years ago, I discovered my passion for great quality coffee. Today, we're roasting excellent quality coffee that's rich, smooth, and very complex. It's a taste that's new in the world.
2020 Network is a platform to amplify the impact and voices for Gen Z and millennials, covering topics from small businesses, cooking, inspiration, and hot topics. 2020 puts a modern spin to what is happening in our world and everyday lives. 2020 Network has something for everyone. There's Slick Speaks, Teddy Unscripted, Small Talk, Homemade with the Animator, Musical Therapy, Spotlight, No Pun Intended, Callaway's Corner, What's the Tea? We will be sure to help you amplify your impact and inspiration on the 2020 Network. We are an upbeat, dynamic group that turns every show into a great time.
Mark Dane's paintings are custom designed specifically for your space. Each design will not only illuminate your space, but will also function as a truly unique light painting. Each piece is handcrafted using various dichroic glass shapes mounted at precise angles on a metal or wood panel. A specific integrated light source strikes the glass shapes to produce a combination of highly saturated colors. The light paintings can be customized to any shape, practically any size, and in any color combination. They can be configured to produce in excess of 5,000 lumens and may be placed on a table, a pedestal, in a niche, or hang on the wall. Come to the gallery at the theater and talk to Mark about placing a piece of his art in your home.
You've been watching the Brooklyn Cafe Show. Join us each day and after hours as we talk about the hot topics to open the conversations and share a few laughs. Now, back to Dawn and Freddie S.
You know, it's funny.
What's so funny?
I keep waiting for Lenny to play the piano. Now I want him 5 days a week.
I know you miss it, right? Play some music in between.
Play some music in
and
between. Kind of cool.
kind of love being here. I have to tell you, I really want to get, maybe Teddy can get some pictures while she's running the floor of our crew doing this, and behind the scenes pictures of what's going on here. Because if you take that leap of faith and you actually let go of the control, and I say that because I have the utmost difficulty doing this, so I'm 100% guilty of this, and you let the universe and God play out the way it's supposed to. You and I looked at this space a year ago, we didn't take it. We looked at the space 9 months ago, we didn't take it. When we finally took this space, we looked and we said, oh my gosh, what are we going to do with all of this? And again, something positive out of the situation that we're in is we've now turned half of our studio into another larger studio because of social distancing and everything we are now doing. It gives us a chance to move cameras around, move sets down, everything we ever envisioned to do, we're now able to do it.
That's another
We got to be grateful for what we have, but I'm grateful
I'm
for
grateful,
all the
but I
space
need
that
more
we
room.
have. You need more room and more crew, and as you asked for more crew yesterday, I sent you another application that came
Are you
in.
going to call that today?
So pretty amazing, right? So we're going to take some behind the scenes photos so you can take a look at what we've got going on, some amazing photography, some great memorabilia. We're going to talk about that also, and great artists.
Great stuff. All right.
Ready
you
to
wanna
bring over
open up?
Mr. Rogers?
Yeah, I'm dying to meet
You ready
Mr.
to meet
Rogers.
Mr. Rogers' neighborhood? Let's bring him over, Mr. Mills Rogers.
Happy Thursday.
Happy Thursday to you, Mr. Rogers. How are you doing?
Oh, I'm doing great. I'm ready to get this rolling.
He's a coach for schools. He's a great book author and a teacher, a parent of a special needs child. So it sort of encompasses, again, everything that we know. I know people always say to me, how did you get into this and how do you find your guests? I think I find guests that resonate with me, which would be different than guests that Freddie would find. And just your name and your branding alone intrigued me.
Oh, well, thank you so much. I'm a former teacher. I actually left education last year. But like you said earlier, I'm just doing a different form of it right now.
You're located in Texas?
Yes, San Antonio.
And tell us what's going on with the school system in Texas, and as a former teacher, and we'll go into where you are now.
Right now, the schools are going to start the school year off virtually. They're going to be doing the first 3 weeks as of right now, but I get a feeling that they're going to extend it past those first 3 weeks. It's a lot of debate, just like it is everywhere else. And as a former educator, I definitely understand both sides of the equation. And it's just a tough decision. I don't think there's there's a right or wrong answer. In life, there's a lot of gray area, and this is definitely one of those situations.
What did you used to teach?
Like you, I taught special education. I was a special education inclusion teacher at the high school level for a number of years. I also taught middle school science as a general ed teacher. I also I was a science specialist for 1 year. I also had my administrative certification, so kind of a jack of all trades in the education field. I also did algebra. I was an algebra co-teacher, so yeah, jack of all trades in the education field.
It's funny, when I started teaching in Dallas, it wasn't even called inclusion. It was called mainstreaming then. And it was when the kids actually got to go back to their neighborhood schools and go back into regular classrooms. And I think about that 29, 30 years ago, and everyone was up in arms over how can you bring special needs kids back into these regular classrooms. This was elementary school. And I have to tell you, it was spectacular, but it was really just retraining old habits, and now it's called inclusion, and it's a whole lot different, except now kids are now back being home and isolated with what's going on. So I feel like we've taken some steps backwards with regards to that.
Yeah, I can agree. And that's the biggest concern, in my opinion, is those kids that are special education, have those special needs. You know, like my oldest daughter has severe autism, and so she was in a vocational class. And so how do you address that, you know, at home? Can you do effectively as far as an educator with a kid with her disability at home?
And you've taken your background and life skills to a whole nother level. Tell us what you do now.
Yes, I'm a speaker. I travel the country, speaking to different audiences. Well, I don't travel the country anymore because of what's going on, but I've been blessed to have spoken to audiences from coast to coast. I hadn't even traveled coast to coast until I started my speaking business, so that's what's really cool. And so I speak on special education, but most of my business tends to be to colleges. I speak a lot to first generation college students. I have a book titled You Can Win Being You. That's the latest edition of my book. And it's just very important for me to share that, no matter where you come from, what you do, whatever your background is, what your race, orientation, gender, whatever else, you can do what you need to do. You can win. You don't have to quote unquote sell out or change who you are. And so, I've been blessed to be able to, be in front of audiences, whether it be virtually or in person, and encourage people. And so kind of, again, like you were mentioning, I've just kind of changed my platform. I went from being in a classroom, now I get to be on stages.
How long have you been doing this?
3 years. I started in 2017, started speaking in 2017, and it's just been gradual. I get a lot of people asking me like, man, how did you start? And, how do you get these engagements? And I say, hey, it didn't start off that way. I had to put in a lot of work, and, you have to have thick skin because people are going to tell you, no, we don't need you right now, or we're not interested. But I say, you just have to be persistent. You have to keep going and keep growing. And so, yeah, it's been about 3 years.
It's interesting you say that because we have kids that come in from all sorts of universities and schools and everything else, and they're in here learning the trade and everything else. And one of the things we try to hammer home is exactly what you're saying. There's no overnight success to anything in business. There is no overnight success to anything. But I like the fact that you said persistency. It is a word that businesses have to relearn today because you have to retool. You got to be persistent. And you got to keep that in your head. Even though things go bad, they go sideways, they go glim, you have to brush it off and keep going. So I'm encouraged to hear that you're talking to college kids. I think they need more guidance than ever right now. We're actually in a system that we're looking at the educational system right now that was not working before. Now it's just being highlighted, and there are changes that have to be made. And we talked about this when we started in March. Who's going to hit the button to send kids back to school and make some of these changes? And you know something? It's time. It's time that we start to fix some of the things that are broken in our system. And nobody wants to talk about it, but you're going to have to start talking about it. And it starts with our kids in college as well, because they're tomorrow's future. So I'm glad that he says persistent. That's a great model.
Yeah, and my first book is called Success is a Process, Not an Event. And so it definitely aligns with that, things don't happen overnight. You have to work at it. A lot of times when people see success, they're like, oh man, you must be gifted, or, you just have the hookup, or you got things going your way. And a lot of times, no, it's not an event. It's something that has taken place for a long time. It's been a buildup.
Where did you come up with your key talking points? Because you had a huge, broad general education, special education, teaching career, administrative career. But you've changed what you're speaking about. So where did you get those tips from of how you move it forward?
Well, here's the thing. I've been a jack of all trades all my life, a lot of different things. I was in the Army for a few years. I've worked in retail. I've worked in hospitals. And so Also being a parent to a child with special needs. And so I take all those experiences and, that's where I think I'm different because a lot of people, they tend to have done only maybe one, two, three things in their life. And I've done a lot of different things. So, I have a lot of different perspectives. And, the Army was a great teacher as far as showing me how you can progress, if you put in hard work. You just, and because I tell my audience is prior to going in the Army, I was a quitter. Now, don't get it twisted. I wasn't a failure because I did have some success in life. But the Army taught me how to persist through things, to drive through things, to not give up when the times were tough. Because prior to going in the Army, when things got tough, I was going in a different direction. If a job got tough or if I was in college and I struggled with a class, I was changing my major, that's an example right there. So I was always escaping. And so that right there, that's where I get my talking points from, just my life experiences, just having that diversity of experiences that I can draw upon.
And tell me what's next. Where are you speaking now?
I actually had an engagement earlier this week to Illinois Eastern Community Colleges. It was to their Upward Bound program, which again is a first generation college program. And so it's just a matter of, me reaching out to those programs and offering my services. I've gotten traction in that market. And so, I'm looking to continue speaking to those colleges with those programs, also speaking to high schools and middle schools. And I definitely want to do more of, I do want to focus more on special education, also sharing my perspective as a parent and as a former teacher, because I think that's a unique perspective that, gives me an added credibility with both, both populations.
When you've walked the walk, were you a first generation college student? Did your parents go to college?
I was the first, no, college. My parents finished 3rd and 4th grade. I was the first Santori to go to a private university. I went to NYU. I was the first one to go to that type of institution. My sister went to Lehman, and then my brother went to West Community, but I was the first. Then I became the first to graduate. But I didn't get to play sports. That was my son. He was the first. But, it's interesting because nobody gives you anything in life, but everybody assumes, you had it easy. Somebody gave you this and that. It's a trade. You get up every day as a hunter. You go find where to go, what to do. You don't work for a company. And I have this conversation with different people, and I try to tell my son, who's in sales now. And in sales, it's, you did a great job today. You give yourself that slap on the back, and then tomorrow you got to start all over again. So it's like a new career every day. Today will teach you to be better tomorrow, and you got to go get it. And you got to be persistent. And you got to wipe off that ails you. And you have to take in here, we got to take in all pains. And we got to tell people, you know what? We got to go. That you're doing this all over the country is at a level way beyond what we do. I mean, we're doing it now. We're doing it all over the country. We just opened up a segment in Europe. They're watching us in Europe as well. All of that has been put to bed. But it's taken us 5 years. It's taken us 5 years of no's, I'm not interested, of you stink, get away from me. And then 5 years.
Harsh.
And then some 5 years of, we kind of like it. We kind of love you. Because we're not here to hurt nobody. We're here to help as many as we can. So congratulations on what you're doing. I applaud it. I am going to be an avid listener. Can people see it, what you're doing?
I'm sorry?
Can people tune in to where you are to see what you're doing?
Well, when I get hired to speak, it's for specific programs. And so, I'm not doing anything where it's like open to the internet, open to people online. So, it's pretty unique. Like I said, it's very targeted. So, like, for example, I spoke to the college in Illinois. They had booked me to actually speak earlier this month in person. But of course, with the pandemic going on, that's null and void. And so that's where I spoke, virtually. And so that pretty much is how I, build my audience that way.
Words of encouragement are always welcome anywhere you go.
I have an idea.
Yeah.
I know, my ideas always get scary. If we were able to open up a vlogcast, a video podcast for you to share your special ed expertise, because right now, in my opinion, these are the kids and the kids that are going back to school that really, the parents really need guidance. Because what are they going to do? Even if some of these homeschool pods are opening up, if you can't have an inclusion program for your kid and you don't have a coach that's going to include your kid in a small pod learning area, now your child is home with you one-on-one, and if you have to go to work, it's a whole nother level. So maybe you've got some insights, maybe some tips, maybe some networking that we can help share to our community, to a larger audience of special needs parents or parents in general, that we can keep your message going longer and stronger instead of just self-contained. Something to think about.
Yeah, definitely. I'm always open.
Absolutely.
Fantastic. How do
That
people
would be
find you if they
great.
want more information and get your books?
Well, they can visit my website. My website is successisaprocess.net, and you can find out more about me. You can order my books. You can watch a couple of videos. And so, yeah, that's probably the best way to reach out to me, to learn about me. Successisaprocess.net.
And what's one of your top tips for people who are first generation college students when they're just getting into it? What's a top tip?
A top tip would be, understand first that you are worthy of being there. You can do it. You can achieve whatever you want to achieve. At the same time, you have to build confidence. And I'm one that's big on, doing small things to build confidence so that you can pursue greater things. And one of those things I think that helps to build confidence is just self-improvement. Maybe, for example, creating a workout program for yourself that you can be successful at, because that's what it's all about. It's all about building confidence in yourself. So once you see success, once you see yourself being successful at something, then it just carries over to other avenues in your life.
One step
And
at a
so,
time.
yeah, just those small goals that you can be successful at, because a lot of times we get so caught up in these, like, oh, I want a millionaire, or I want to be a doctor, or whatever, real big goals. And then we get sidetracked or get disappointed when things don't quite go our way. And so I think, again, it's just so important to set small goals, small, reasonable, reachable goals, and it'll build confidence. And then you start to feel more confident that you can achieve the greater things.
One step at a time.
Good stuff. Hey, listen, he's got the right attitude, and you're showing the future of our country, of our society, to keep that attitude.
Yeah.
It's really funny because my father always told me it takes 7 times to hear the same things before you begin to even hear it. Not learn
Right.
it, hear it. And I said to Dad, you don't even speak English. He says, that's why I can tell you this. So he did it because he didn't understand English. It took him 7 just to hear it.
Interesting.
Can you imagine how long it takes to learn it?
I got to tell you, what it's like for you, your brother and sister, to be the first generation college.
At the time, I thought it was a big deal.
It is
They
a
even
big,
bought,
it's a
me a
huge deal.
car. They got me a Nova.
It is a huge
It's a big
Bought me a
deal.
Nova.
It's a big deal. Your parents coming over, not speaking English. I mean, this wasn't an easy transition. For the 3 of you to go to college, I think it's a huge deal.
Nah.
And I tell that story. I tell that story to my audiences because I'm not first gen, but my mom was. And I said, my mom grew up in Jim Crow era Louisiana. And she was the first in our family to go to college. And her example made a huge difference for the rest of my family because, like, she had nieces and nephews, my cousins, that were not that much younger than her because she came from a large family. And when they saw her doing it, it made it a reality for them. And so, like I said, I share that impact with the audiences I speak to that, yes, being first gen, trust me, your little nieces and nephews that are tagging along with you right now, they are paying attention. I say, even your parents, some of you may encourage your parents to go back to school. So, we learn a lot just from watching. You just never know how you're impacting someone.
Amen.
It's funny because what I like first is what I do now. I call them my kids, and they go on the air and they're learning how to be hosts. They're learning how to be on TV. They're learning how to be on radio. They're going to be putting them on national radio. We're going to be putting them on Roku. When you see how their eyes light up to be able to say, you know something, I did it. That's a first. For me, man, I've had more jobs than you. She'll tell you, I've had over 3,000 jobs. Because, you know, I get bored. I say, time to move on. I love to have a party when I'm learning. But to watch minds grow, for me, there's no other high better than what I'm surrounded with every day. That is more than anything else. And it becomes contagious. Jody at NN, everybody. Jody's daughter that's doing voiceover. These are people that if I met them once, it's a lot. But to watch them grow and do what they do, man, there ain't no better feeling in the world than that.
Got great branding. Thank you so much for joining us.
Oh, thank you for having me. It was a lot of
Pleasure
fun.
to meet you. Best of luck with you and your family. We'll stay in touch.
All right, thank you. Same to you.
Mr. Mills Rogers, Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. Check it out. His books.
That's good stuff.
Things that
Encouraging.
as
That's
always,
2 days in a row.
you know,
Are you going to make that announcement, by the way,
which one?
for Editor's Desk?
I think we'll make it when we come back from commercial break.
Okay.
How about that?
That's
We're
good.
going to kick it over to Slick.
Slick, are you up and going with a mic? Because I don't see no mic in your hand.
This day in history. This day in history brought to you by Slick.
Today in history is brought to you by myself and the Brooklyn Cafe. Today in history, August 6th, we entered the nuclear age, being that the person that I have behind me is Paul Tidbit. And everybody heard of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. We dropped the 8 bombs today around 3 p.m. Mr. Paul Tidbit was the one that dropped the little bomb over Hiroshima, and Mr. Claude Early dropped the big boy. And we entered the age of atomic on August 6th. Back to you guys.
Well, nice job.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
Nice job, Slick.
Admirers, connoisseurs, and enthusiasts of the art world, witness a visual spectacle like no other. Come visit the Gallery at the Theater, one of South Florida's best-kept secrets. Located in the heart of Boca Raton, the gallery features a diverse catalog of sculptures and paintings by world-renowned artists. But that's not all. All of the art is showcased in a live studio setting, home to South Florida's very own Brooklyn Cafe show, starring Dawn and Freddie S. And to top it all off, our collection includes signed memorabilia from some of the world's most iconic names in sports and entertainment history. So come on over, enjoy a cup of coffee, and experience the magic of the Gallery at the Theater. Located at 2400 Northwest Boca Raton Boulevard in Suite 13. Or give us a call at 888-994-4995.
Listen to some sweet melodies and let's discuss the meaning of songs from all genres of music with me, Lenny Marine. If you want to sing along and participate on the show, please call 888-994-4995. I love to learn and discover the benefits of music on our mental and physical health. Music therapy will help you get through these tough times with entertaining and educating shows. Please tune in weekly on AMP Media Productions and enjoy, folks.
Come see Amy Reshevsky, an artist here at the gallery. She has a plethora of art styles that will indeed captivate the human spirit, mind, body, and soul. From her vibrant pieces to her most shrouded pieces, come down and see Amy Reshevsky. All right, guys. I know there was technical difficulties because I am always the hard one to actually turn on the mics. But today in history, we have reached the atomic age. On August 6th, we dropped 2 atomic bombs, one called the Big Boy and one called the Little Boy. One was dropped by Claude Early, and the man behind me dropped the little bomb, or the Little Boy. They call it Big Boy and Little Boy. He dropped the Little Boy in Hiroshima, His name is Paul Tidbit. Come see Paul Tidbit here at the Boca Gallery. And remember, August 6th, we have entered the atomic age. Back to you guys on the Brooklyn Cafe.
You've been watching the Brooklyn Cafe Show. Join us each day and after hours as we talk about the hot topics to open the conversations and share a few laughs. Now, back to Dawn and Freddie S.
Too late, Dawn. We're back. We caught you taking pictures of the Slickster.
Yeah.
Nice.
Behind the
Slick.
scenes.
Nice.
Behind the scenes.
Today, Hiroshima. You know what today is also?
What?
It is Root Beer Float Day.
Really?
Yes.
Interesting.
You know where I learned that?
Dairy Queen.
Watching Fuego.
Really?
Yeah, they talked about Root Beer Float Day.
I think we should go get some root beer floats then after the show. Where should
Well,
we
I'm
go?
going to tell you, I used to go to Fish and Chips, Arthur's Avenue.
Arthur Treacher's?
Yeah, him. I went to Arthur Treacher's with Giovanni every Saturday. He used to get up and he used to look at me and says, "You ready to go, Dad?" I go, "Yeah." And we used to go down to Arthur Treacher's. And they used to have Arthur Treacher's and something else, I don't know. But they had the frozen mugs.
A&W?
A&W, frozen mugs. And we went in there, and the guy used to he knew me and G already. He says, "The regular?" Yes. It was the float, it was the root beer, and then, whoop, a scoop of ice cream.
Wow.
In the root beer float with fish and chips or something. I don't know what it
Makes
is.
me think we should go back up to Delray, up to the pharmacy.
I don't even know if they do that. Do they do that at the pharmacy?
Sure.
They do
I haven't
floats?
seen them in a long time, but yeah.
You guys like to go one day up to the pharmacy and get some floaties? Oh, I got their attention inside.
She's like, ice cream? She's all in.
Root beer floats. You like root beer floats?
Do you remember we made the egg cream up there? That commercial we put together a couple of years ago with
Yeah.
them?
They have all sorts of, it's like a 1930s diner up there.
Delray Shores Pharmacy.
It's beautiful up there. You know, I always wanted to do a diner
I know we
set.
did.
For remember we had pictures and all that? Just don't have the money. But
National Root Beer, you never know. Oh, I should check. You know, yesterday was, I think, 20 million in Lotto, and I think it's,
I think you hit.
I guess I should check my numbers.
I got a phone call that says, "Do you know Dawn Grobman?" I said, "No, I think she hit Lotto."
Did she come to work today? I came to work because I didn't check my numbers. I think
I will
Saturday
put
is
an
Mega
all
Millions.
points bulletin if you don't show up to work after a Lotto drawing. I tell you that right now. I'll call your mother. What do you mean she didn't come to work?
What would you do if you hit 20 mil?
You wouldn't see me here.
Really?
I'd be in church.
Oh, okay. And then afterwards, I was thinking about last night. If I hit the 20 mil last night, I actually should check my numbers and see what I was going to do with the money.
What were you going to do with it?
Well, a lot of things. I would probably buy us a building, get us the equipment that we wanted. I'd give the kids a chunk. I'll give everyone on our crew a lump sum for all the time and effort they've put in with us, and then reassess.
You will be broke in 15 minutes.
And I thought about, okay, if I give them this and this and this, that still leaves me. And I went through all the things I would give away first before I even put a penny in my own pocket. And I thought, that's not even normal thinking.
First of all, you don't give people money.
I think our crew would be very happy if I gave them a check.
You take Slick
Yep.
and you open up a trust.
Okay, that's
so
fair.
that they have, so the money gets replenished.
That's fair, okay.
And then they live on a stipend for the rest of their life.
But that's what I was thinking. We take our crew that have been with us through thick and thin, through all of this, and they show up every day and they work out of the kindness of their hearts most of the days. How I could help offset some of that. And I thought I was trying to come up with a number for everybody.
You know, it's really sad to see some of the state of affairs going on. Mia had a great show that she did today with her sister.
Was it good?
It was great. And I spoke to her sister for a second, and she's a communications from FAU, right? And I said to her, "Wow, that's great. What are you doing now?" She says, "Unfortunately, I'm bartending." And it broke my heart. It broke my heart simply because you go to school, man, and you put in your time, you put in your years and everything else, and when you graduate, you don't get to live the dream that you set out to go.
Did she graduate? Is she younger or older than Mia? She's older.
I think she's younger. Is she? Oh, you're right.
Okay.
Mia hasn't graduated.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, and she's a communications, major. And I saw her, and she was very good on the air. And there's no reason in this business that she shouldn't be working like the rest of these guys. But it's just a pandemic right now, the time of the thing. So they ran out of here. I was on the phone, so I didn't get a chance to talk to her.
But that's what I was thinking about. And then I thought of you saying the other day, you give all your money away. And I realized I would probably give it away before I actually spent it.
Well,
I would keep some. I would give you some, and then give all the crew some.
You gonna give me some?
Give you
She's gonna give
some.
me some.
Give you a sliding scale. Split it with you.
I feel so.
But that's what I was
So
thinking. What
fortunate.
would I do? It wasn't like I'm not going to work anymore. It wasn't as if I'm going to run away. Right now, you can't even go on a great vacation. We're sort of here. How do you put back
How
and
far
give
do you
back?
think you're gonna get away with $20 million? It's gonna last you maybe a month.
No, I hope more than a month.
You don't walk home with 20.
So what
you
are
come
taxes?
back with maybe under 10, like 9 million.
You would pay 50% in taxes?
Oh, absolutely.
Come on. Really? I was thinking 30% in taxes.
Somebody look up lotto winnings. What do you come home with?
Wow. All right. So even if I come home with $9 million, I take my first million, I disperse
You're gonna have
it.
9 million people knocking on your door. Oh, Dawn, you
I
remember
disperse
me?
it. I disperse it. You, Slick, Teddy, Val,
You gotta set up
Vinny.
trust.
Okay. we
Because
set
what
up
happens
trust.
if you give anybody $100,000, I guarantee you they're gonna get themselves in trouble.
Okay, even if I
and
take
they'll be
1
broke.
million and they each get $100,000, I still got $8
They'll be
million
broke.
left.
They'll be broke in a week
Well, that's on them.
because it's found money. You got to set up things correctly so the
Okay,
money
we
works
could,
for
we
you.
could set that up also. I'm just saying that still gives us plenty. Even if I took another 300,000 and bought us a
you're gonna
studio.
have first, your family is going to be at your door. Then you're going to have your friends at your door. I would just take a plane ride somewhere. Or train. No, none of that. You can't even leave. I just throw myself in the pool.
So that's what I was thinking. Even that's plenty of money to share, plenty of money to go around and last you a lifetime, and continue to give back. But I was thinking of you saying you give everything away.
You do. You know, she keeps saying she was thinking of me, but I'm getting some money.
Well, I was thinking you telling me I give everything away is what I was thinking
You
about
give
last
everything
night.
away.
25%, quarter.
So what's a
25%.
quarter of $1 million?
Quarter of the winnings.
Okay, so what's a quarter of $1 million?
With the Trump situation, they're talking about 39 to 37% for the recent winners that won the lotto.
37%?
Well, yeah, with the
That's what I was
Trump
thinking.
administration is going 37%, 39, which is the highest tax that
Yep.
they see.
So if you have $1 million and you subtract $250,000,
That's 25%. You got 750.
$750.
But they were talking 39%, so say 40% for all intents and purposes, because you're at the highest tax bracket.
What?
Say 40%, make nice round numbers.
That's what I was
Of
telling
20
you.
million.
You're going to walk away with $8 million.
Isn't that unbelievable? That's more than that. That's
No,
60%.
$12 million.
Okay. Yeah, that's 60%.
You're going to walk away with $12 million.
Did I really win? I don't know. I got to check my numbers and I'll let you all know. You'll hear it first right here at the Brooklyn Cafe Show is all I can tell you.
It's kind of interesting because now I'm thinking,
You're thinking,
how much money did I spend trying to win that $12 million? It wasn't $12 million.
so I went to get gas yesterday and they were smart. Talk about branding. There were signs on each pump that said, tonight's lotto is, Saturday's Mega Millions is. Well, how do you not at least think twice about going in when they prompt you to go in? Right?
Do you know that most gas stations don't make money at the pumps? They make the money inside the store? Do you wanna know-
Probably.
do you want to know how I know that?
How you owned a gas station?
When I was in Tampa coaching, I had to get a job. And I went to a gas station place, and they hired me. But because I was older than, let's say, Slick and them guys, they wouldn't let me play, they wouldn't let me stay at a place, a gas station. So I had a territory. I had like 100 gas stations, and I would have to visit them from the Keys
Wow.
up to Orlando. Big gas station. And I found out all the money they make is when you come in and order a sandwich and drinks and things. And that's where they make their money.
But don't they make money on the winning lotto tickets? If somebody wins lotto and you buy it from that location,
You get
don't
a
they get a
percentage.
percentage of? That's what I thought.
I think, is it voluntary? Like if you get a lotto ticket from Sunny Isles and you win, how much would you give them?
No, I think they give you, I didn't think it was a lot. I thought it was like $1,000. I don't think they make a whole
You
lot
got
of
to
money.
give them at least 25,000.
Do you?
Yeah.
And why would that be?
Because he sold you the ticket.
Oh, okay.
What's the matter with you? You got to give your friends something.
You always got to give your friend something. I was thinking, what can I give Val and Teddy? Like, this is what I was going through my mind last night at
Pair
9
of
o'clock.
shoes.
If I won, how
Pair of shoes.
much would make them all happy? How much would Slick? And how do you equate it equally among everyone? This is what I was thinking last night at 9 o'clock. I'm finishing my workout thinking, okay, if I win the lotto, how much
You
do I
must
give
have
everyone?
a lot of time on your hands.
Not really, because you see what I go on in here?
How much money do you want if she wins lotto?
All of it. Okay.
They're saying like 5% off of a commission charge for.
So they get 50,000.
Okay, 5%. So these are actually things they've already worked out in the logistics of the lotto. So imagine if I win lotto and Mega Millions.
Let me ask you, if you knew you had a 20 million lotto ticket, would you go to some institution where they take care of the homeless and hand the ticket over?
How do you choose which one though?
First one that comes to your mind.
There's so many foundations to help. So many people to help. And that's a whole nother
I got a quickie
whole
story
nother
for you.
business. Okay.
When I was working for Charlie Rango in the Heights, up in the Heights, I got visited by a gentleman that won lotto, a lady and a husband and wife team. And they came in and he had a restaurant and they wanted me to help bring their daughter out of Panama, let's say, something in South America. And I wrote a congressional letter and I had Charlie sign it. And a couple of weeks later, she was granted permission to come to the States. And here comes the father. And he had a bag of money. And he starts putting stack of $5,000 bills on my desk. And I'm looking like, wow. I was speechless.
Couldn't take it though.
Charlie comes running out and says, thank you very much. He starts putting the money back in the bag. And I say, he ain't offering it to you.
You could not take it. That's bribery, yeah.
He was so grateful. Do you know the year? I don't understand. Maybe I got lucky. He was so grateful. He started putting money on it. He told his wife in Spanish, sigue, keep doing it. Keep putting the money on.
Wow.
It must have been 10 stacks on there. And here comes Charlie Rango. Whoop! He throws to everybody in the back. I said, Charlie, you weren't giving it. You're giving it to me. He says, no, you're an NYU, so what happens to me happens to you. You can't take that. You can't take that, Santori. And he goes, ladies and gentlemen, would you like to take me to lunch? Take him to lunch, not me.
Yeah, you could. Oh my gosh, imagine that. Can't even take it.
I saw Charlie in Washington, D.C. about 6, 7 years later, and he remembered me.
You got stories, man. You
I
got to
saw
write a
him.
book.
I worked for an organization called Somos Uno, and we were in Washington, D.C. We were in Congress. And here comes Charlie strolling up with the media and everything. News was on him. He was Charlie was a big player in Washington because he was in the Ways and Means Committee. He signs the checks for the country. And I said to him, Charlie, remember me? He looked at me, he says, you that Italian Rican, aren't you? I says, yeah. He says, oh, I remember you with the money on the table. All right, let's go.
I got an idea for you. Every day I want you to write down, go as far back as you can and start listing your jobs. You're going to have to fill in the blanks because I know where you started, like Frank's Army, Navy, right? And let's actually...
Started before that, but yeah.
We should actually, and you're going to like write 10 and then the next day do 10 more until you get it all completed. And then you're going to go, oh wait, this one goes here. It's going to be like this whole brain mapping thing. But let's actually, the Freddie travels of life. That'd be kind of cool.
You wouldn't believe some of the crap.
That's why I want you to write it down. I think you should write it down for you, for us, for your sons, for your grandsons.
Why would I
See
wanna
where
do
Pop
that?
Up was.
That's kind of scary.
I think it's
Do you
pretty
remember
cool.
the Pan American building? They used to land the helicopters in the Pan Am building. And they changed the name to, what's Snoopy? MetLife building? Oh, yeah. It's called the MetLife. Okay, before the MetLife, it was called the Pan Am building. Yeah. That Pan Am building was my route for the Wall Street Journal. Over 10,000 newspapers that I had to deliver. And I never forget the day they took me in the room and I looked at all the newspapers. I said, hey, what do you want me to do with this? You got to deliver in the building. I said, are you insane? And I had to do that. And I got like $400 a week for doing that.
Wow. But that would be kind of cool to actually take a look back. And then we're going to have you write your pitch. How are you going to pitch yourself?
From that?
From all
Don't
of
do this.
And everything where life to where you were to where you are and all those things, because I don't know anyone that's had as eventful a life as Jobs and careers
It
and
wasn't
people.
always eventful. Dawn.
I
There
can't
was
say
some
they were
bad
always
times.
good,
No, it wasn't bad.
but you
times.
learn from those times also, right?
You learn from everything in life. That's why, you know what? I have fun. I just want to have fun. I remember being a kid watching Dean Martin, and he used to walk down that spiral staircase with his scotch and his cigarette. And he used to sing. And I used to tell my mother, that's the kind of job I want.
Well, you
And
gotta know.
But my mother says, no, you don't get that kind of job. So I think I'm going to get a cup of brandy or something. It'll probably be iced tea, who knows. And I'm going to be sitting here,
I'm kind of liking this whole setup with you. The blue,
Definitely.
you've got the entanglement picture behind you. It's looking nice.
I think I'm going to change the color of my shirt depending on what you're going to put behind.
I actually just want to change the name on your shirt because
No, this is-
branding. You're branding the wrong company.
This is over the heart, baby.
Is that what it is?
Over the heart.
All right, we're going to kick it over to Teddy, take a commercial break afterwards, and then come back with our next segment.
Hold on, we're not ready for Teddy, are we? Oh, yes, we are ready
Yes,
for
we
Teddy.
are.
Oh,
So this
okay.
segment brought to you by Dignity Memorial and Teddy.
Hey guys, I just wanted to tell you a lot about the Dignity Memorial funeral benefits. So if you have a business, you can always add to your employees' health benefits, dental benefits, with the seldom thought about funeral benefits. With Dignity Memorial, all of your employees plus anyone in their family eligible gets 10% off all burial services, 10% off all cemetery services. They get international transferability, and all the amazing benefits and choices that Dignity Memorial has, including Neptune Reef and more that you can find on dignitymemorial.com. Or if you want to learn specifically about the funeral benefits, you can go to dignitymemorialfuneralbenefits.org.
The way you live your life says a lot about you. The way you choose to commemorate your lifetime can say even more. It's a single event that speaks volumes. So how do you celebrate a life? Dignity Memorial providers believe that your memorial service should be as unique as you are, reflecting your personality and your passions. It should be a perfectly tailored send-off, a fitting tribute for family and friends to celebrate the person they love. We're professionals at catering to your every need, right down to the catering. In fact, no detail is too small. So when it comes time for a fitting tribute, we'll see that your final wishes are beautifully fulfilled. It's what Dignity Memorial providers are known for. And why you should rely on us to see that your life is well celebrated. The celebration of a lifetime begins here.
Here at Small Talk, we look for any challenge possible, whether you have pictures that you need a slideshow with some cool music, or you're good with camera work, but you want to create the film of your dreams. I can help. No amount of footage is too big or small. Tell me what you want, and I will make it happen. Call today at 866-224-5422, or email me at smalltalktv2020@gmail.com. Remember, any idea you come up with is never too small. Call today to get your dream project started at 866-224-5422 or at smalltalktv2020@gmail.com.
You've been watching the Brooklyn Cafe Show. Join us each day and after hours as we talk about the hot topics to open the conversations and share a few laughs. Now, back to Dawn and Freddie S.
I had a cramp
Maybe you're going to have carpal tunnel from your bell.
from my bell.
Ring your bell. Nice stuff. Nice job, Teddy. That segment brought to you by Dignity Memorial. They've got promotions, everything going on through summer, free online events. You can always follow them at Dignity Memorial Southeast Florida on Facebook. And if you are not in Southeast Florida, they will connect you with the location closest to serve you. There are thousands and thousands of locations throughout the continental U.S. And Slick seems to have a list in his hand. He's like, I got this. His list is gold. But contact them. We'll get you in touch with Wayne Henry, Dignity Memorial, Southeast Florida, for more information. And they're having an event coming up next week. And I hate to say there's all sales and promotions, but they're here to help you for all your pre-need plans and just get it in place. Just one more thing to scratch off your list for your family.
And they'll be here. He'll be here
Wednesday.
He's going to be in studio or something on Wednesday. And just because you taught the Dignity Memorial doesn't mean there's something bad is about to happen to you. It's about planning about the future. I am a member of Dignity Memorial, and I'm very proud to say that. Okay, and I am fully stocked on at least half of the equation. Did you hear the latest about my kids? They're taking out insurance on me.
Life insurance? To pay for your dignity? You don't have to, because
no, they want,
that's
because
covered.
they said I want what I want, and they are actually going to give me what I want. I almost fell back in my chair. I said, who are you people?
Wow.
They say. We'll see if they do.
Interesting.
So I'm supposed to take some kind of
Physical?
insurance physical.
Okay. Interesting. Nice.
Yeah, because I want to. Do you know
They
when
have to
they
take your
burn me,
blood.
they're going to put me in a memorial.
A
So when
mausoleum, you want.
whatever. A mausoleum. So when you go there, there's music, there's a bar, you can sit and chat, stuff like that.
I'd rather give you part of my millions of winnings, and we can create a beautiful home right here that we can live and enjoy with our crew instead of worrying about that.
Unless you're going to put me in the rafters here, I got to worry about that.
I don't worry about that. Let's worry
I'll be
about
like
now.
this.
Let's worry about it now.
What's the name of
but-
that movie?
What was the guy with that Weekend at Bernie's?
No, not that. That's horrible. No, what was the name of the movie when the guy stood on the, he went like this?
I don't know, but I know. What was it? I can't think of it. It's like the bird something, right?
No,
Phoenix.
it wasn't
No, it wasn't
Phoenix.
that. It was something else. It was like
It was
a
the
funny
Karate
movie.
Kid.
Oh, that one?
Yeah, Karate Kid.
With Ralph
And he kicks the
Macchio?
guy in the face.
Ralph Macchio.
I don't know the guy's
Brainwaves.
name.
I think I know, like, back in the 80s a whole lot better than I know now. But we've got more guests joining us all the way from California. You know, the time change is interesting. When we have guests from England, they come in on our morning show. We've got guests from California and the West Coast. We bring them in on the afternoon show. So we've got Brainworks joining us, WORX joining us. Remember that figure eight we were doing?
Yeah.
That comes to you from Bob and Alma from Brainworks. There's Alma. How are you doing?
Hi guys, good morning over here.
So you're the
Good
figure eight
afternoon over
lady.
there, right?
Yeah, right now it's a little after 1 o'clock here.
Oh, fantastic. Well, good afternoon. So excited to share with you guys.
It is a pleasure to meet you. So I was talking to Bob last week, and I got a plethora of information, and I'm sitting there with my Infinity, the figure eight, and I'm trying it, and then I had everyone in the studio doing this. So tell us what Brainworks is.
So Brainworks is a nonprofit organization, and so what we do is we work with families and children and people actually to help them optimize their brain. And so just like a really quick insert, I have two boys that had really significant challenges when they were little. And so I tried everything under the sun. It was in the 90s, so there's no internet. And trying everything under the sun, the thing that really worked insanely great for my life was something called neurological reorganization, which is going back to early movements, the early centers of the brain, and then basically rewiring the brain again, but now purposely. And then all of a sudden now we have new functions that we can actually have an easier life, and that's what I found in my kids, and actually subsequently in me too. So we're really passionate about sharing our message that simple movements change the brain, and changing the brain gives us just a lighter, greater ease in life.
And you found this all on the research that you did to help your sons. This wasn't in existence before you were, as a mom, trying on a mission, trying to help your boys.
So Brainworks, no. what has now been compiled as BrainWorks is the different things that really work, different combinations of movements and therapies that did work, actually 3 specific ones. So neurological reorganization, there's an emotional component that, oh my gosh, if we don't look at our limiting beliefs, we keep repeating the same thing. Have you guys noticed that?
Amen.
So
Yes.
do that. And then what you guys were doing with the Lazy 8 is from Brain Gym. So these 3 combined make incredible changes in our life. And so we're really passionate about sharing that it's something simple, not easy. Our program is not necessarily super easy, but it's simple. And the movements just completely change everything.
So can this work with special needs, with different kids of different rewiring? It's not just people who want to excel more, but you're looking at some special needs. I think he spoke with me about autism, some kids that are on the spectrum, ADHD.
So my kids were actually diagnosed with everything under the sun. So, they didn't actually even speak until after they were 6 years old.
Both
and
kids?
That's what really led.
Are they
2
twins?
Kids. No. What happened is, I kept in the 90s, I kept asking my pediatrician, how as a mom, you have a gut instinct that something's off, and I would keep asking my pediatrician, I think there's something going with my son, and he's like, no, he's fine. And I'm like, no, I really think there's something going on. It's like, you know what, boys speak way later than girls. You're too worried don't worry about it, you're neurotic, I think. And I'm like, what? So, needless to say, I get pregnant, and then when I was pregnant, Manny's his name, Manny actually became really challenging, extremely challenging. So everything went absolutely downhill for Manny, but now I'm pregnant. And so then when Manny was born, finally, Adrian's my second one. When Adrian was born, Manny was actually able to be, diagnosed, but by then everything, like I said, under the sun. But now I have a baby. And so in the 90s, I kept asking, well, what do I do? And nobody really could give me a pathway to follow. There's actually 2 doctors that suggested I would put Manny in a home and move on with my life, basically institutionalize him and move on because now I have a baby. And that was the hardest conversation to ever have had. And, I say it this way constantly because it was really true. That was the darkest time of my life because I couldn't imagine giving up my son. But then again, it's like, what do I do? And I couldn't handle a baby and I couldn't handle my son. And that was hard. And so when I finally just got out of my pity party, I say, I'm like, okay, my kids came to me for a reason, so I'm going to find a way to help them. And so I started just praying a lot and asking for what do I do? What do I do? What do I do? And one thing after another started coming, not really helping a lot at the very beginning, but then all of a sudden when I did get to neurological reorganization, that was a game changer. And again, when we do simple movements, we basically create new neural pathways in our brain, which then completely change how we take on our life, how we show up. And, right now we have parents and individuals, believe it or not, half of our clients are now adults. They don't even have children. So they want to optimize their brain, get integrated. And one of the big parts, you guys, that help when we go back and reintegrate these parts of the brain is that they really regulate our fight or flight. And who doesn't need to really take a look at that in our crazy little wonderful world today?
It's interesting. I'm thinking fight or flight. What do I normally lean towards? I think I used to lean more. The gentleman we had earlier, Mr. Rogers, he said he was always in flight. He would quit his job. He would quit college. He would move on until he joined the military. And maybe that's part of the same thing. It's about reorganizing your mind and keeping you connected in different ways. But fight or flight, I'm quick to panic for sure.
Well, sometimes we live up to definitions. You get this idea that because you're doing this is what you fall under. Sometimes you're just curious and you got to find out who you are. I mean, I had a lot of jobs because I wanted to find out what I wanted to do. and enjoy what I wanted to do. I didn't want a job. I want a career. I wanted something that I can grow on and be something. So people used to tell me that I fly by the seat of my pants. I gotta tell you, I got no bigger pet peeve than those words, because it wasn't true. I was just out of the box and they couldn't catch up. That's the way I saw it.
But I like the neurological reorganization. And is that done through tasks? Is it done through, I can't say reading because then there are those that are dyslexic. So there's got to be, what is it, like eye-hand movements?
This is what's so cool. It's movement. Everything is movement. Everything is natural. We basically go back and start from the very beginning, our early building blocks, and go from there. And so we basically have to go back and do certain very primitive movements, but they're simple movements that just do incredibly beautiful things in our brain. And you know what, Freddie, you said, you're absolutely right. Sometimes we need to figure out who we are. The thing is, like, one of the things that happened with me subsequently of my kids not being able to be instructed, go do this. You know, I would have been that parent that said, you know, go do these movements, and I would be like, you know, happy. But they wouldn't. So I would have to do every single movement right there with them. And subsequently, I changed. And that's why we're really adamant about having it's a family process. And so
How
that
old
way
are the boys?
everything gets optimized.
How old are your boys now?
They're 28 and 25.
Wow. And how are they? How are they doing?
Oh my gosh. So that's what excites me. They both have jobs. One of them has a girlfriend, the other one's looking. And you know, the one that was asked, the doctors asked me to institutionalize, he's the one that has a girlfriend. And you know, so they help me create content for BrainWorks. Manny's an incredible claymation artist. So he builds claymation and then makes movements, so then I can share with kids and things like that. And they fire me up every single day to share this message.
That's incredible. And tell me about your program. How long a program is it?
So it's a year-long support for parents and for any participants. Usually it takes about 6 months for the movements to really, the program is 6 months, but we have a year support. And everybody's brain just develops as they need to. So in a nutshell, it's just, we have an online class that goes right along, and so we meet on Zoom every Saturday to support our families, ask questions and things like that. It's very interactive. But the bigger part is that it's a family affair when everybody's getting to optimize their brain.
Optimize your brain.
And how young can you start?
You know, as soon as they start walking, this is what's so interesting. These early centers of the brain, if they didn't get developed before we start walking, then that's it. What ends up happening is that then we end up compensating. And that was for sure one of the biggest things of like, the greatest little discovery for myself was how much I was really working over than what my brain really can handle. So one of the things, Freddie, that you mentioned is, again, getting to know yourself. I really thought I was an introvert because I was super shy. I would not even want to have any conversation, not even with like a stranger. So then as I got to develop more of my brain, I was like, oh my God, I'm not an introvert. How crazy is that?
You got to develop more of a... Do you know you're only an introvert for 30 seconds? That's it. That's it. After that...
I'm a total introvert.
She's a total introvert. Everybody here is an introvert. Yeah, huh? Lies, all lies. There's no such thing. There's fear, not introvert. Fear is a label.
That's my point. Exactly. That's just my perception of who I thought I was. But that was really because my pons was not developed to the point that then I could just not be in that fear mode constantly, in that flight mode. That was me, flight.
So kids that are diagnosed and identified through Child Find, you can work with them as early as even before that. Once they start to walk, as a parent with intuition, you say, you know what, I think my kid needs. You can work with them at that point
Yes,
either.
Absolutely.
And then I asked Bob, I threw in another curveball. I said, well, if you can rewire and neurological brains when they're young, what about those elderly with dementia and Alzheimer's? Would this potentially work with some of these senior centers?
I 100% yes. And you know what? Our oldest participant is 78. And, you know, she's very successful. She's a PhD psychologist. But, you know, she wants to optimize her brain, so she's doing all of this with us.
There's so many things. You know, now with school being online and at homeschooling and all these things that you want to work with your kids on, you are in the perfect platform, I think, at the perfect time. And now everything can be done, obviously, this way.
Virtually. Yes, and you know what's one of the things that we talked an awful lot with Bob is that how can we support our community? So we've actually, starting Monday, we're going to do a 5-week back to school toolbox where we're going to teach parents things that they need to know about the brain so that they can have a good setup and tools every single day to amplify, you know, their experience with their children.
Is Bob, I think Bob was joining us. If Bob's on, you guys, let's bring him over. It's a 5-week introductory course or a follow-up course?
No, it's actually it's the 5 weeks of, no, I'm sorry, 5 days that we're going to be every single day talking to the parents. And then we have 2 bonus days where we have 2 experts come in and share their, actually Bob would probably be able to talk much better about the logistics of what we're doing next week.
All right, Bob.
Yeah. Hi, Freddie.
Co-founder.
Hey, you know, Bob, not for nothing, but they leave the guys always behind.
I kept thinking, I thought maybe we lost your connection or something.
What happened?
He's been there.
No, I'm here. I love to listen to Alma talk about the program because it's just changed so many lives. And what she was talking about earlier is a 5-day. It's under the 5-day challenge. Have you ever done a 5-day challenge? It's kind of like that. But, you know, last thing parents need nowadays are more challenges. So we called it a 5-day back to school toolbox because it really is a toolbox on how to get your kids calm and how to get them focused. So as they go into the school year, you know, all the stress that's coming on, learning at home, being at home all day, being in front of the computer all day, what are they going to do and how are they going to manage that? Especially for kids with challenges like ADD, ADHD, you know, and so our 5-day toolbox gives them the tools to calm down. We take them through a movement. Every day they do movements that optimize their brain so they're calmer, they're ready to learn, and they're ready to go into school. And so they're better, they can learn better, they can be better for the teachers. And then when they go into lunch, we handle the transitions, we handle focus, and we also give them something called the cortex, a calm cortex zone. And what that is it's an emotional regulation program where we actually help them identify what feelings they're feeling and then what movements they can use to help get them back into out of fight or flight and back into a calm state, back into a ready to learn state.
I think I want
to
try it.
It's a very powerful program.
5 days, I think I can make that commitment. Can adults do it?
Absolutely.
Adults do it. Yeah,
How
for
long-
sure. It's
How long is it
Go ahead.
each day?
It's
only an hour each day. Yeah, with a half-hour Q&A.
Wow.
I think you're
Yeah.
qualified.
You know, I'm good with these 5-day programs, Bob. I can't even tell I'm good at 5 days. I'm like good at 3, and then I know I've got homework for the next 2. But I feel like
Yeah.
it becomes manageable, and then you get a taste and say, you know what? I can do this. I see my kids are benefiting. I see my house is a little bit calmer. I've got tools. As parents, you're always looking for tools to go back
Right.
to. Freddie teases me. He goes, okay, tell them to put your finger in your belly button. And you guys put your finger in your belly button. They're looking at you like you're
I'm doing
crazy,
it right
but you know
now.
what? Some people do it.
Yeah. Well, you know, it's the reason we did 5 days is because we want to give it little bite-sized digestible chunks that parents can do, right? And so they teach their children one movement in one day, and then the next day they teach them another and they add on. So by the end of the 5 days, they have a full list of movements that they do every day. It takes them about 10, 15 minutes to do the movements, and they're ready for the whole school year. And then we also give 2 bonus days where we bring in Dr. Lisa Solcenti, who will teach about the gut-brain connection. So as you heal your gut, your brain also can heal. And we also bring in Colby Kale. She's a speech therapist, and she talks to parents about how important it is for self-care, because when they're cared for, they're in better shape to work with their kids. And so it's really a 7-day program with 5 days with 2 bonus days.
Wow, the gut-brain connection is tremendous, and I don't know if people realize how important it is. And your kids sit home and they grab a bag of chips, or they take a little some cookies, or so, and next thing you know, it's all that. It's not even just the sugar; it's what that's doing to your brain. And we talk about all the time gut health. Guts are really your first brain. This is your second.
It's I'm just
and coffee too. Coffee's a killer.
I'm in this whole thing because the body has certain things. You ever notice we have 10 toes? Hopefully, 10 toes. You have 10 feet. And my son in school was a talker, so I had to use things on his body to sort of sidetrack that. And I should have just had him do figure eights.
And I think there's different movements. I had them all doing it. He says, this table's not good for me. He said, I need a pad. We went the whole thing.
She says, boy, that's an ugly figure eight. Because there was like wrinkles in the table. And
you know what I realized? I took a note paper. This is where all my notes are for today. This is what it's on the back of it. I sat, honestly, and I did this with you last week on the phone.
That's hilarious.
That's funny.
Is that funny? But if you look how neat my figure eight is, because you realize your handwriting, it just stays kind of the same.
If you wanted to test this, what you would do is you would write your name down, and then you would do a figure eight for about 30 seconds to 60 seconds with one hand, and then you do another 30 to 60 with the other hand. And then you write your name again, and you would notice a drastic difference on how your handwriting is. It's much more neat and synchronized. So it's a great test to see how the brain responds to that particular exercise.
I think your timing on this is perfect.
Because it just brings it into a whole brain state.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Yeah. What Alma's taught me is that these movements that we show you push you into what they call a super learning state. So what a lot of people don't know is that from 0 to almost 8 years old, a child is most of their brain waves are in theta, right? And so that makes it super absorbent. They're absorbing everything. You know how they say kids is like a sponge, right? Kids are like a sponge. Well, when you do these movements, it also puts your brain into a similar state. We call it a super learning state. So you're more, you can absorb more. So as you go into the school year, if you're doing these movements on a daily basis, your brain is actually opened up to receive more learning, and it's able to calm down, open up, and focus.
I like it. Anything with the brain, I like.
You're learning a lot, aren't you?
I'm learning that my brain has a long way to go to develop.
Your brain is different.
We're going to fill
Everyone's
that hat
brain
up,
is
Freddie.
different.
Got a whole.
We're going to fill that hat up, Freddie.
You're not kidding. I got AC and DC wiring that's like this. I got to sort of straighten it all out.
Incredible. How do people find BrainWorks? How do they get in touch with you all?
You can go to our website, brainworksinc.com. That's BrainWorksinc.com. And you can find us there. I also posted our back to school toolbox on your website, so people can find that. That is going to be a lifesaver for a lot of parents. I highly recommend you take that. You'll just find tremendous value, and you get the full year of access to all the videos and everything that we give you in that program. So
when does it start?
It starts next Monday.
I tell you, I see an East Coast, West Coast production.
You were where in California?
San Diego.
They're in San Diego.
Oh, I love San Diego. Do you know that when God made San Diego, he forgot about the rest of the country?
That's why we live here.
It is beautiful there.
What did I say? Be classy, San Diego? Wasn't that what he said in the movie?
Stay classy.
Stay classy, San Diego.
Yeah,
beautiful.
You know, we really missed Comic-Con this year. I usually put my Ron Burgundy outfit on and go down to Comic-Con and do a bunch of interviews.
Don't worry, it's coming.
Because somebody has to represent San Diego, right?
It's coming, don't worry. We're going to get back on our feet. This is all going to change and turn over. It's coming.
I got to tell you guys, thank you so much for joining us. I'm going to check that out because maybe some of our crew, maybe we can try it.
I think we should do a whole segment on this. I'm excited about this.
I'd like to bring, I got to talk to Bob a little bit, and I've been talking to Alma about bringing them and doing a segment on our Kids Network. It airs Saturday mornings. We start at 9, and we're really looking to grow that platform because it's all about kids, for kids. Some of our shows are hosted by kids, interviewed by kids. They're on radio, they're on streaming, they're on Roku, and really bring this up to another level and get parents involved also.
It might be a good idea.
What a great idea. We'd love Yeah, we'd love to come out for an hour, half hour, and just, maybe on a daily basis, just show them a couple movements. The idea just happened right now, right? So
That's how we do it.
we're pushing for a California Dreaming Studios is my new concept. It's where I want to go with this thing, because East Coast meets West Coast meets the East Coast. I think there's a lot of stuff that we could do. We could actually learn about what's going on out there, because on this side of the state, we can't even stay out of our own way. And you guys seem to get in the midst of what needs to be done, and why not follow the lead?
Coast to coast connections.
I kind of like that.
Pleasure to meet you, Alma. Nice to speak with you again, Bob. Check out Brainworks.
Thank you.
Tell us the website again.
Brainworksinc.com.
Brainworksinc.com. You guys stay safe. We'll stay in touch. More to come. Let's rewire our
Stay
brains.
classy.
Stay classy, San Diego.
Good stuff.
We're kicking it over to Selena or to Slick?
Slick.
All right. Slick is back in play. Your CBD store.
All right, guys, this segment has been brought to you by Your CBD Store. Your CBD Store has 4 locations in Pembroke Pines, Boca, Singer Island, and I forgot. And I said Boynton Beach already. I think I skipped over. Yeah, Boca. Okay, basically Boca, Boynton Beach, Pembroke Pines, and Singer Island. But so Your CBD Store is the best way that we cope through the Brooklyn Cafe mayhem. So I would say contact Your CBD Store. You don't have to go into the store, because they do have non-contact delivery, and they can deliver, I'll say, in the tri-state area. So contact Your CBD Store now. And back to the Brooklyn Cafe.
Not all CBD products are made the same. Here at Your CBD Store, our trained and highly educated staff can help recommend the perfect products for you. Stop in and see for yourself at one of our locations in Pembroke Pines, West Boca, Boynton Beach, or Singer Island. Or call us today at 561-437-1080. Again, that's 561-437-1080.
I look very snazzy right now. What do I have to say, guys? Amy Minty combines the hilarity of For Better or Money, the eroticism of For Love or Sanity, the mystique of For Sink or Swim, and the suspense of For Sex or Revenge, making her 5th novel, For Strip or Gamble, her best to date. Get your copy at amyminty.com or amazon.com. Get yours now.
You've been watching the Brooklyn Cafe Show. Join us each day and after hours as we talk about the hot topics to open the conversations and share a few laughs. Now, back to Dawn and Freddie S.
And we are back at the Brooklyn Cafe Show. Freddie is talking with our crew, putting some new spots together. We're waiting for our next guest to log in. We've got Omar joining us. We'll see what's cooking with that. Another podcast. I've met some incredible people. You guys are doing a spectacular job. Freddie, you going to come join me, or am I going to continue this on my own? He's on his way, so I can continue it on my own. Some great spots. Saturday is National CBD Day, so contact Your CBD Store. 4 locations, but they will send it. They will drop ship it. You can do drive-by delivery, but call them. They will help you find what products are best for you, from edibles to oils to tinctures to facial lines. And also for the first 10 guests, I believe, they give them a call on Saturday. They receive a special guest, the gift of your choice. So you can contact them at 561-437-1080. just a little bit of an education. They joined us this morning on our 9 a.m. Brew Crew. All our products we keep here, everything that we get to share with you is everything that we get to use here at the Brooklyn Cafe Show. We are a working classroom, so you see us, you hear us talking to our crew. Many of them are interns from locally, some are interns from across the country, some have gone back to school through our internship program. We call them producers. We've probably had about 200 producers join us, go through the ranks, things that you never learned at school. We say the good, the bad, the indifferent, and this becomes a home for everybody. They are our extended family. So you see us talking to them on set. You don't always see them. Sometimes you hear them. You see them producing their own shows. They run our studios. We couldn't be half of where we are without them. So a huge shout out always to our crew, our producers, and our interns. And today we've got a lot of shows coming up. At 2:30, we have the Colored Pencil Artist with Jay Harmon and Marion Freeman. Mark Freeman, they're very longtime friends of ours. They get to decorate the walls in our studio here in Boca Raton. So tune in for that at 2:30. You're going to join us on the set because we've got Omar joining us, another podcaster.
I'm going to do a Jim Carrey. I'm going to look in the camera.
Just walk right through and put the camera right up to your eyeball and focus it. See how that goes for you.
I ran into Slick. You know what happens when you run into Slick?
It makes a mess?
No, he wanted some stuff. He said, thank you, Dawn. I guess you saved his life because he found the flan.
Oh, good. And
yeah,
oil
it stinks because he's eating the flan and I'm sitting here doing the show.
And oil slick. So give us a call. Join our conversation. Brainworks was spectacular. A lot of information. I like the 5-day program because you don't even have to make a big commitment. 5 days, 2 bonus days, gives you 7, gives you a week worth of tools to help your kids, help you rewire, deal with the stress of now homeschooling, because that is where I think we're going. Things are opening and they're back at home.
And Brainworks works because it helps you get your brain in order. You know, I was thinking, they help you de-stress. If you mix them with CBD, I wonder if that whole
I was thinking about that actually. You know, some different tools in your toolbox, different movements, and it's not anything that you have to take. It's nothing that you have to subscribe to. It's about rewiring brain. Remember when your boys were little? Did you have tummy time for them?
Tummy time?
Tummy time.
What is that?
So instead of always having your baby lay on the back, you know, they'd always lose their head, they'd be laying there. You have tummy time. You have to reposition your kids. You have help encourage eye-hand coordination movement. They'd put the pegs in the holes, all of those different movements.
I didn't have any of that.
You didn't, did your boys?
No.
Michelle maybe did it with
We
them.
had no pegs. What do you mean, Michelle? We had no pegs. We had no holes. We had no pegs. We had a can of soda. We kicked it down the street. Or we hit a Spalding 100 miles.
What about your boys?
What about them?
What did you do with them?
What do you mean what I do with them?
When they were babies, did you reposition them? Did you have jumpy toys? I see your grandson has a thing, Brecken, where he kind of...
We didn't have none of that.
It goes like, it bounces, it's soothing, it's calming.
We didn't do none of that.
Nothing.
I used to put them on the rug. I used to put them on the bouncer. No, a swing.
And they played.
Freddie loved it, Gio hated it. Freddie just wanted to run all over the place.
And Gio's different. They're different.
Gio was just sitting back going, I want a bottle. That was it.
You should have seen the text I got from Gio this morning because we're sending him some information. He says, as always, you need to be more specific and let's go back to the beginning. What do you need? And I said, never mind, we figured it out. I gave it to Teddy.
Oh, on the board?
He says to me, as always, tell me what happened and let's be more specific. He's so analytical, that executive producer of ours.
No, he's a real pain in the...
No.
Okay, who's next?
We've got Omar Ding joining us. So we're going to bring Omar over. Good afternoon. We don't... do we have Omar's audio, guys?
1 second, Omar.
We got you.
How are you guys doing?
We're good. How are you doing? Nice background.
Oh, thank you. It's I'm camped in my living room right now.
That is beautiful. It's funny. I was just talking to one of our hosts today. I said, your house is beautiful. I said, can we see another side of your house? A beautiful background. Your shirt, he kind of blends in with everything. Omar has a podcast.
Omar looks like he has a painting behind him of one of the pieces we have right above me.
It's beautiful.
You see that?
Omar, where are you located?
I am actually in Minnesota, in Minneapolis, and that's a very old, actually a piece of fabric from Senegal, where I'm originally from. So, yeah.
That's beautiful. You're in Venezuela?
No, I'm in Minnesota.
Oh, in Minnesota, okay.
From Senegal, right.
See, I know, I should actually find out where people are from, but.
No, that's all right.
It's okay. No, all right.
Tell us about your podcast.
Yeah, so the podcast is called the Motivational Voice Podcast. It's a podcast that I started actually about 5 years ago because I just felt that I wanted to share some positive vibes and some just tips and tricks on mindset and positivity and just anything that would get people to realize that while life can throw challenges your way, you can really always overcome those challenges.
And you talk a lot about goal setting. And you've done
That's
a
right.
podcast. I was listening to that. We started off 2020. Now, we sort of did things different here. So June came and we did New Year's. On the end of June, we
Right.
did another New Year's party. And then a couple weeks ago, we did Christmas in July. Next, we're going to move back into Thanksgiving. So when I was
Right.
looking at all of your information, I thought, let's reset our goals now maybe for 2020 because people want it to be over. Well, it's not. So let's embrace who we are and maybe relook at our goals, some of the things that you talked about.
Yeah, absolutely. I think everyone sets goals, which is really the easy part. But the most challenging part is not only setting those goals, but following up on those goals. And I feel like most people do a bad job at circling back and saying, hey, wait a minute, what happened to that goal of joining the gym and losing 5 pounds?
And what about goals as far as business? So I always look at it from a business perspective. And clearly the goals you set in 2020, January 1st for business, have changed.
Absolutely. I think the key thing that you need to do when it comes to goal setting is to actually reevaluate. You should really reevaluate your goals, especially from a business standpoint. I would say at least quarterly at a minimum to figure out what has changed since the beginning of the year and make adjustments throughout the year, including not just at the end of the year, but of course in the middle of the year. Because as you know, a lot of people didn't see COVID-19 coming in January, when businesses had to adjust and completely change their goals and reset and adjust based on the current situations with the coronavirus. So one of those key aspects of goal setting is really to be able to go back and say, hey, I did set a goal, now it's time to go back and say, do I need to either scrap that goal altogether or shift it into something else? So that's a very key piece that people really need to make sure that they do.
And how do we make that assessment? I go back to fight or flight. There's a fine line in my mind of quitting and saying, I'm not going to do that. There's nothing I can do right now. Or reassessing, or do we continue to pursue those goals? How do we make that determination of, do we want to reassess it? Do we want to move on? That didn't serve us and keep going. How do we make that adjustment?
Yeah, I think the adjustment would be based on your original goal. So for a business, for example, if you say that, well, our goal was to hit a certain figure, let's say it's 100,000 by the time you finish the month, but then coronavirus hits, clearly that goal is going to have to either be abandoned or shift. And the way you decide is to look and see if it's feasible for you to continue. So I'll give you a specific example. If you own, let's say, a restaurant and you realize that everything is shut down, you are likely not going to hit that $100,000 goal. However, you can shift your actions. So if your goal was to hit 100,000 and you broke it down to say, okay, by mid-month, I want to make 50K, but then that changed. So what you need to do really is say, all right, let's change that goal and change the projections that we made, because we know that people are not going to be dining in, but we may have a chance to reopen and have some people dine in outside of the restaurant. So that would bring in maybe 60% of our goal or 40% of our goal. So in that case, you can keep that goal. But in certain other situations, you may have to actually change the goal completely or drop it and do something completely different. So it can be circumstantial.
How did you get involved with the podcast?
Yeah, so the podcasting for me was a natural way for me to share. I do motivational speaking, and a little bit of my background. I grew up, as I mentioned at the top of the call, in Senegal, West Africa. And one thing that happened in my life actually was when I was 15 years old. my family was attacked by a mob with machetes and weapons. And we actually had to flee our home country to go to a different country. And as a result of that, what I learned was I had to spend some time in a refugee camp. And what I learned from there is that you can overcome struggles. And the way I survived that really was to stay positive and think about the next day and look at the world from a glass half full rather than a glass half empty approach. So that positive mindset that really helped me survive that, but also go on and come to the United States and have a successful professional career. What really got me through that was looking at the world from a positive standpoint and always shifting your mindset in terms of if you hit a challenge. You need to know how to change your thinking and not be the victim, because that just gets in the way. To me, every time you hit a challenge, every time you overcome it, life is actually preparing you for the next challenge. And every time you successfully pass one of those challenges, you become stronger, not just emotionally, but psychologically, and you tend to hit your goals a lot more and a lot better. So that message of positivity and motivation is what caused me to want to share that knowledge with a wider public. So.
And I love the way you brand. I hadn't seen you. I was just listening to your podcast, and he has brief snippets on his site. So you can listen to a minute. And then there's a link that says to listen to the complete podcast, and you can click over. And there's something about his voice and delivery that I just thought, I got to meet this guy and how you do it and what you talk about. And here we go again, and the stories and how he resonates.
Well, I want to touch on the base, that you want to bounce back and don't let negative things get you down. It seems like in our business, there's more negative than positive until you overcome and you get over that hill. And a lot of it has to do with our own perspective. We think that we're not doing a good enough job. I got kids in here who are just Da Vinci's with cameras and film and everything else, and they never think it's good enough, but it is good enough. They just gotta believe in themselves a little bit more. What do you say to somebody to keep them going?
Yeah, I think especially younger kids or people who are just starting their careers, the key thing you need to remember is at that point in your life, everything is a stepping stone. And if you see that from the perspective that this is a stepping stone, it's a test for you to be more successful because you're going to be facing more challenges in your life. Then you can't help but think positively about your current situation. It's not good enough now is not the mindset you should have, but where you are at right now in your life, this is good enough. Now, it doesn't mean that you shouldn't aim higher. It just means that where you are now is, again, a stepping stone to something greater. And to give you a specific example, when I first came to the United States, and this was 20 plus years ago, I had to just find jobs to survive and help out, or help my wife. And I worked in the restaurant industry. I worked in the DC area as a banquet server. I worked as a server, as a host, and I never, at any point in my life, thought this is beneath me. And what that did for me is it created not only connections, but some skills, soft skills, that later became really, really key to me getting certain jobs in my life because I had those experiences.
Soft skills. Nice words, the way to phrase it and put it.
It's always the delivery.
And are you a motivational speaker? This is a full-time, or do you do this on the side?
Yeah, right now I do it on the side, although at the beginning of the year, my goal was to ramp it up. But of course, COVID-19 happened. So far I've given about a handful of speeches virtually, which is great, but really different from seeing an audience and being in front of them.
And what is your main audience? What is your demographic target?
Millennials for the most part, although I do have some Gen Zers, so generally people between the ages of 25 and 45, which hits right that millennial to Gen Z generation.
And it's about going forward, setting goals?
Yeah, it's about mindset, positivity, and just getting unstuck in life. Because a lot of people nowadays, especially, will go on really on remote control, if you will, in our careers, in our lives. We turn a certain age and then we realize, wait, I've never really thought about this, but am I happy with my job? Am I happy with my relationship? Am I happy in my life? What do I need to do to get rid of that getting stuck feeling and be able to be happy with where I am and be clear and unstuck in life?
To get unstuck. And it's a whole nother generation we've been talking about. What I'm loving about our platform, and I say this over and over again, is the amount of different people we get to reach out to. And now education is so on the forefront. Kids going back to school, but now it's affecting our millennials. Are they going back to college? And I know someone that was supposed to start college in 2 weeks. They were planning their trip up there and they got an email from the school yesterday that says, nope, no in-person college. We will refund on housing, food, and dorms. And everything is now done online, at least for the first semester. So it's re-looking at this for millennials and Gen Z and saying, all right, I was supposed to go, but now I'm not. Right. And the whole experience, it's more than the education of college. Your college experience, everything you thought has now shifted. And how do we address it? And here you are talking to this exact demographic.
Yeah, absolutely. And a quick story for you is that one of my sons, my middle son, who is now 19, was in Japan studying abroad when this coronavirus thing happened. And he had to actually come back. And I have an older son, 20-year-old, who's also about to start school, but everything had to be scrapped. So again, it's another challenge that life is throwing our way, and we need to figure out how to deal with it. And one thing that millennials especially, they get a lot of flack for not being hard workers and being lazy, but actually millennials now are starting to have children, buy homes and buy cars. They have a pretty decent work ethic, including Gen Zers, but people just don't quite understand that they are really more powerful and more mature than we give them credit.
We got to pay some bills, so we're going to go to Selena and we'll stay right there, and then we'll come back. We got 2 more sets left, so we're going to go 10 after.
All right. How do we find your podcast, Omar?
Yeah, just go to my website, or you can type the Motivational Voice Podcast on any platform. You'll find it. But my website, umarjeng.com, and you'll get a link.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for joining us. A fantastic message. Check it out. I love his
Absolutely.
delivery. Have a great day. We're going to kick this over to Selena.
This segment is brought to you by Gubba Silver Rum.
Which one?
If you want to spice up your night, or if you're going to a family gathering, you should definitely come and pick up Gubba Silver that's infused with coconut ingredients, or Gubba Gold with vanilla ingredients. They're both wicked smooth. You should go check it out.
Welcome to your vacation staycation. And what better way to kick back than to blend up a sweet pina colada, a smooth mojito, or just a nice stiff rum and coke. If you want true relaxation and enjoyment, then you want Gubba Rum. Gubba Rum is a unique rum infusion. Gubba Silver Rum is infused with real shredded coconut, and Gubba Rum Gold is infused with real shredded vanilla bean. Both are made with certified organic ingredients. Each infused Gubba Rum is 35% ABV, 70 proof, and as we say in Boston, wicked smooth. So if you're looking for the best combination of taste, smoothness, quality, and price, your clear choice is Gubba Rum. If you want that wicked smooth taste for yourself or your vacation staycation, visit GubbaRum.com to find your closest liquor store that carries Gubba Rum Gold and Gubba Rum Silver. Gubba Rum, it's wicked smooth.
You've been watching the Brooklyn Cafe Show. Join us each day and after hours as we talk about the hot topics to open the conversations and share a few laughs. Now, back to Dawn and Freddie S.
And we're back.
We are back at the
back to
Brooklyn
finish
Cafe.
up.
Someone asked me last night, I was on a quick phone call, and that wasn't a long phone call actually. He says, so how'd your show go today? And I said, well, we did 5, 6, 7. I go on Thursday, well, I don't even know how many shows we have today. I've lost track. We should do a tally. Grand total of today's shows are ding, 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 ding.
I don't even look anymore.
You can't. You
But
just got to keep going.
That was outstanding what you put together today.
Thank you.
That was good stuff. The gentleman and Brain, I mean, the whole thing was right on point. Exactly what we need.
And if we can help you, Amp Media Productions can help you amplify your impact, share your business, share your ideas, your videos, local business, community, or even just an idea, always reach out to us. You can find us at the Brooklyn Cafe TV at gmail.com, or you can always give us a call here at the studio at 888-994-4995. Find us on Facebook, message us on Instagram, message us on LinkedIn. You can find us every which way you can. We are here to help amplify your impact and bring your business and your ideas forward. And with that, we got a busy day. We got a lot cooking. We're going to kick it over to Vinny.
We're going to kick it to Vinny. Again, don't be late. We'll see you tomorrow.
Be kind to each other.
Hi there. Today I want to talk about Healing Moments. It's a place that will help you with stress of whatever it is, either psychological, mentally, even physical. You have everything you need from post or pre-surgery issues to saunas to crystal healing or even just nice massages and nice meditations too. So you want good healing moments, go to Tracy. She'll give you the best of whatever you need with.
Well, that's about it for today. Even though the show is over, the Brooklyn Cafe is always open for business. You're invited to join the fun every day from 12 to 2. If you missed some of the laughs from today, Dawn and Freddie S will bring more good cheer next time. You can follow the Brooklyn Cafe on Facebook at the Brooklyn Cafe TV to rewatch every minute of the show. Well, see you next time.
Sleepless nights, I wait for you to bring me back to life. In my electric eyes, it doesn't mean that time can pick in every single breath. I want to unfreeze my heart and fly away. That's why I wanna stay. And craters, open up my eyes, waterfalls of ice, sweeping me away like an avalanche, helpless as I fall, the words can't say it all, sweeping me away like an for a sound, waiting deep inside my maze of sweeping threads and colors, just a ray of light.